Welcome back to Timberborn. It's been a while since I've done a beaver stream, because I've been playing this a ton on my own time and trying to get to know the second faction that I've unlocked, the Iron Teeth. This is the first community that I built with the Iron Teeth, and I built it in the Canyon map, I believe is the name of this map. And so it's been really interesting to sort of figure out what this faction is all about. So you can see they've got this, their architecture style, they tend to, instead of having the little sort of beige buildings that the folktales had, they've got this, I guess they're just painted sort of a brickish orange color. And rather than having these small little apartments that you sort of stack on top of each other, they have these megalithic barracks that house, instead of 4 beavers, these house 10 beavers. And the large ones, do I have one of the large ones? Yeah, these larger ones house 16 beavers. So there's just beavers on top of beavers in this world. And you can see this map is also really interesting too. So this is the Canyon map. And you can see it's got a river that starts up here, flows all the way down here. And actually, originally, this river was way down low. And actually, all of this land was not green. It was dry and cracked because the river was so low. But I built this tall dam here to hold back this river as a reservoir. And then it ekes out this little river that sort of flows between all of my farmland and goes down here to this very simple dam at the bottom where I've got a water wheel going and stuff. Right here, this is my, like, farming and cooking central. Like, we've got a bunch of wheat fields over here growing between these two sort of branches of the river. And then sitting on platforms on top of the river, I've got an engine running, which is a unique piece of technology that only the Iron Teeth have, which burns logs in order to generate tons of horsepower. And it is turning these grist mills, which are grinding the wheat into flour, and then that's going into these bakeries, which are baking bread. And I have so much bread right now. Like, I'm playing at normal difficulty, so probably that would be a little tougher if I was playing at a higher difficulty level. But holy crap, are we just sitting on tons and tons of bread? You can see that, like, a lot of my warehouses are full. I ended up building this enormous warehouse complex here in the back, which is just warehouses stacked on top of warehouses, because I just needed room for all of my food. So I ended up judging this community as being, like, fairly successful, and I started doing some weird, ambitious things, like, for instance, I started taking the water that I'm pumping out of the river down here, and I just started carting it up to this big hole, basically, that exists up here on the canyon for no good reason. Like, I didn't have any particular ambitions to start, farming up here or anything like that. But basically, laboriously, beavers just carted water up this long staircase and dumped it in this hole until this hole filled with water. So one of the things I kind of am amused by in Timberborn is the fact that it's pretty easy to get self-sufficient pretty early on, and then everything else you do is just your own wild ambition, just stuff you've decided to do for no reason because it was there. So that's what I did over here. And so if I wanted to, I could build a whole community around all of this arable land that I've created by filling in this lake. And, maybe I will at some point. But I started getting a little bit curious because I chose one particular strategy in this map, which was to use very simple dams down here to hold onto this water, and then use this, and then create a reservoir up here. So basically, whenever we have a drought, what happens is this water here, it persists for a little while because of the dams. Eventually, it dries up, and then in stages, I'll use these floodgates to just, like, take them down one little step at a time and feed water from the reservoir down into the farmland again. And so this area up here will slowly dry out as I'm dropping the water levels in the reservoir, but this land will stay green until the end of the drought. But I started thinking, is this the only way? Like, have I just solved this map? Is this the only way that I can approach this map? And I thought, you know what? I want to try out a completely different strategy and see if there's other ways to survive on this map that are more interesting. So right here, this is the original starting point of my community. Is this little district center that is planted right here for me at the very beginning of the game? And it's like, next to this, sweep of river here. It's got a bunch of little, like, raised land behind it. But this is what I started with. And so I wanted to go back to the beginning and start a completely different way. So that's what I did on my own time, not on the stream. I started a completely different community of Iron Teeth, and I wanted to see, can I do a better job this time with an entirely different approach? Not entirely different. There's some common threads, but I'm doing a few different. I'm doing a few different things that sort of changed up the experience for me. So I ended up kind of discovering that this game is more flexible than it seems at first. So originally, You remember where I had that district center at first? I've flooded that whole area now. So this is the same map, but I've just decided to handle it in a different way. So instead of having that one very simple dam right here, I built a taller dam that raised the water level so that now all of those things, that entire area that had been my breadbasket, basically, where I was growing all that wheat and I had built all of those, mills and bakeries and things like that, all of that is gone. That's just not even a thing I'm doing anymore. Instead, you'll notice that I actually built a new district center and then abandoned my old one so that it could be stepped back a little bit further and it could reach a little bit further up the valley. And not just be wasting, because you can basically, you follow these little lines and these outlines to see, I can only build things within range of my district center. And so when the district center is down here in the middle of the flood, that's not going to work. And so I decided to step it back a little bit and build it on top of some of my apartments. So instead of building down here, I just stepped it all back a little bit, and I built up on this sort of dried, parched ground that's raised from the water, and then I just flooded this whole area. That meant that I had a little bit less farmland. I had to actually use my farmland very carefully because, it took me a while to actually get to the point where I had built this dam and built the reservoir again like I had before, which meant that, and also it took me a while to build this levee over here. So basically, the very first thing I did was I built this dam. And this dam could not actually fill this area with water as effectively because whenever it got up to a certain height, it would just start flowing down this branch, this fork in the river. So I had to dam this one up too. So for a long time, this water was actually extremely shallow. In fact, it's kind of shallow right now. I believe that I might be just on the heels of a drought, so it might still be filling up. In fact, yes, I am just at the end of a drought. So this reservoir here is slowly filling up. And once it starts spilling over again through these floodgates, here we are. It's starting to spill through the floodgates. That should start turning these wheels. There we go. The wheels are starting to turn, and it'll start raising the water level here. So basically right now I actually get pretty deep water in this area where you can't even really see these bushes sticking up out of the water. But when I originally, I can just raise the speed a little bit to make it happen faster. When I originally built this, the water wouldn't get that high. And so what would happen during a drought? In fact, let me simulate what would happen during a drought by lowering my floodgates. During a drought, the water level would go way down. I think I'll set it to about 0.5 here. The water level would go way down. And it pretty quickly after the drought began, this land here would no longer be flooded. In fact, you can see that starting to happen here. It would no longer be flooded, and it would dry out my farms up here, which is actually kind of fine, because what I ended up deciding to do was plant farmland underneath the water, so that basically when this food started drying up, the beavers could actually go down here and start planting crops under the flood. And the rules for how water interacts with plants in this game are kind of interesting. Oh, we've got a little bit of water spillage coming through here, but the rules are interesting. So you can only plant crops when the water has receded, when the land is dry. It needs to be arable, like it needs to have water nearby. It needs to be green. But it can't have water on top of it when they're planting. So you see they're planting here. But once they've planted, the plants can and then you flood the land again. The plants continue to grow under the water and can be harvested under the water. And so basically, it would almost be like I had almost like a Nile-like weather cycle going on, where the land would flood periodically, and then the beavers would work around the flood to plant and harvest their crops. You'll notice, by the way, the area that gets dried out when the river dries up, I've planted all that with carrots, whereas my potatoes, which are these sort of green stripy lines here, the potatoes are in the land that always stays watered even when the water level drops. That's on purpose, because you'll notice that carrots, they actually last, well, I've left them dry for a little bit. They actually last 2 days after they're dried, so that you can, still harvest them and stuff without losing the crop. Potatoes die after only 1 day. And so if there were going to be parts of the land that would eventually get parched, I wanted to make sure I only had carrots on that land. But anyway, now that I've demonstrated this, let's close these floodgates back up and start filling this area with water again. So you notice immediately water starts flowing back, and I won't lose this carrot crop. because it's going to fill up this area and re-moisturize the carrots before they all die. So yeah, but you'll notice these carrots and potatoes that they planted, they're still here. They're not being killed by the water. And so eventually these are going to grow, and the beavers are going to come, and they're going to harvest them even though they're underwater, which is great. So Macmert says, oh, so you invented floodplains. Basically, yes. I have invented floodplains. So, okay, so, and you'll notice I also, like, one problem I had, though, and that I knew that I was going to keep having, was the fact that, oh, wait, why is that? Oh, have I blocked off the door to this paper mill. That was idiotic. How about I don't do that instead of doing that? The question is, okay, that's going to be an interesting problem for me to solve in a minute. I will keep that in mind, and we'll address that in a bit. But, so one problem is the iron teeth. One of their great powers is that they can build engines, which burn logs in order to sort of move machines and things like that. But when I introduced this floodplain, I lost most of my tree growing land because I needed to use this land for food. And so I actually spent a long time just absolutely starving for trees. So that's why I actually marked out these areas with levees. All of this land here and here would normally be completely underwater. But I marked it off with levees so that it could actually, have time to sort of like basically treat them like normal farmland and normal tree growing areas. And eventually I managed to dam up this area and turn all of this land into tree growing land. So now I have actually like a massive surplus of trees, which is good because I'm just about to get to the point where I can start building engines again. And so I'm going to need to have all those logs to fuel my engines and keep all my machines moving. So anyway, after I built that, I moved on to some even more ridiculous ambitions. Like I said, this game is fueled by wild-eyed, stupid, pointless ambition. So I'm starting to build another dam behind my first dam. And this is a much larger, more ambitious dam. And so what my plan is to build another reservoir that is just much huger, that fills this entire area. And I'm pretty sure this will work. I think that whatever side of the map the water comes from, I'm pretty sure that the game treats it like an obstacle and not like an outflow. I'm crossing my fingers that that's true. I haven't really tested it yet. We might test it during this stream. But not only am I going to build a reservoir just in case we have like the world's worst drought, I'm going to do more than that. I'm going to build an aqueduct that goes from here across this gap and feeds this land with water. Now, right now I've got a bunch of machines here because I'm trying to harvest this metal and turn it into metal blocks so that I can start building things like engines. And so until I can build engines, I have to build a bunch of these sort of like wheels to run my eventual shredder here that's going to create the metal blocks so I can build engines. So it's kind of funny. Eventually, I'm going to have an engine up here running this thing, but until I actually get this thing running, I can't have engines. And so I've got a bunch of right now I'm calling them punishment wheels because I've built the wheels and I've got beavers working in the wheels. There's no factory that's driving it. These beavers are just running in these wheels for absolutely no reason. They're like Conan the Barbarian. It's kind of ridiculous. So, so my goal is to... they're almost done. Okay, so I actually started a second district up here because you'll notice my first district, even though I did step it back a bit, its build range stops just shy of this dam. It can't build this dam. So I built a new tiny district here that only has like 6 beavers living in it. And their job is to build this dam. And they have just barely completed this. We're just right at the top of the dam now. And the only thing they have left to build is the floodgate here, which I'm going to prioritize. They need to build this floodgate. And once they've built this floodgate so I can close off the unfinished aqueduct, I'm going to have them actually build the main floodgates here and see if this reservoir actually works. So Jedi Psytrix is saying, well, maybe maybe this is not a punishment wheel. Maybe this is just exercise. But we've got other people. Bleat, for instance, is like, no, he wants to call them Conan wheels, which makes sense. So I can't take credit for the punishment wheel concept. I believe I got that from Real Civil Engineer, the YouTuber who introduced me to this game. He calls them punishment. He actually does just build wheels for no reason and sends beavers he doesn't like into the wheels. So I'm not going that far. I don't actually have crimes in mind that these beavers are being punished for. I'm more of an arbitrary, fickle god. So once they're done with that floodgate, I'll be able to actually test my theory. Well, actually, you know what? They're building that floodgate. Well, yeah, no, until this floodgate is ready. The thing I don't want to do is back up a bunch of water here and have it flow out here and destroy my, not destroy, but waterlog all the stuff I've got going on over here. So yeah, so I am going to wait until they're done with this floodgate first. And then I'm going to move on to blocking up that floodgate. And then slowly but surely we are building my little sort of steel processing my metal processing complex. And once we've got that done, oh, actually, I can start. Oh, yeah, okay, so now that we finished this staircase that goes down to where the metal actually is, I can unpause my metal scavengers, and they can start scavenging metal, because I actually think that I can't build this thing until I've got, yeah, so I need gears, which it takes a while to make, but also scrap metal. So I have actually been upping my industrial capacity. I used to have only 2 lumber mills making planks. I now have 4, and I still can't keep up with the demand, because not only does it take planks to build a lot of this stuff that I'm building over here by the dam. Ooh, I've got my floodgate. It also takes planks to make gears, which is what I need for all the factory-type stuff that I'm building. Okay, so let's finish our floodgate now and hope that it actually works the way I intend. So that is what our final floodgate is actually going to look like. So let's prioritize that, make sure these beavers aren't wasting their time on any other nonsense. So yeah, build that. That is the most important thing. But while they're building that, I need to figure out how I'm going to solve this problem. So I originally placed this paper mill here, and then later realized I also wanted to build an explosives factory in the same spot. And so I extended the power log to cover the explosives factory, and forgot that, of course, I was blocking the door to the paper mill. So that's not going to work at all. So the question is, what will work instead? So first off, let's delete the current powertrain that we got going on here. And so I think that what I can do, got a few options. Okay, so in order to give power to this, all I need to do initially is just build a platform. Let's grab a platform. How deep do I need to make this platform? Is that good? Yeah. I build a platform there, and a little right angle guy here. And so I could put another right angle here and, connect it. But I also need to somehow get power over to this guy without crossing these paths. Now, one thing I could do is just decide not to build an explosives factory here. That would certainly also work. But I'm feeling ambitious. I feel like I want to try to figure out a way to actually do the more complicated solution. I think I know how I want to do it. So I've got the science, I think, to make this work. So let's build some additional platforms over here. And then, looking at the power section, I'm going to build a 3-way right there. And then I'm going to build a step climber to step up the power 1 level higher. And then I can build platforms that go over the walkable path. And I can put that up there. And then I can step down again to get here, go around the corner, and then go into the explosives factory. And I need to prioritize all of this so that my beavers will actually build it and make sure that it really works. So let's prioritize the powertrain. Let's prioritize... How do I prioritize the platforms that it's sitting on? There, I think I got all the... Let's go down a couple levels to make sure I've actually highlighted all the platforms. I think I have highlighted all the platforms. Okay, so while the beavers in the Grand Dam district are still working on my floodgates, the beavers in my original district, which I called the Terraces district, they are going to prioritize working on these factories. Now, the explosives factory, I'm not going to be able to build it until I've got metal blocks. So explosives factory itself is going to have to wait until I've actually finished my metal complex here and have started making metal blocks. But all the pieces of it should be able to come together just fine. And so my goal is I should be able to see a working powertrain connecting to where the explosives factory is going to be. And beavers will still be able to get to the paper mill, which looks like Azra here is working in the paper mill, making paper, which is one of the important ingredients you need before you can make explosives. Okay, so Mesmerize says, I've seen on YouTube that the spawning tiles for the water should have invisible walls on top of them for a 10 block height. Okay, so Mesmerize is suggesting that the water on that sort of the tiles directly above the source of the water should be blocked up to 10 blocks. That's good to know. The thing that I don't yet know is once I've actually completed all of these levees, like, okay, so is the water flowing out? It looks like it is flowing backwards. Dang it. If the water is flowing out, I think that means that I might have to actually build a wall, like I might need to build a wall along the back in order to make my aqueduct work the way that I think it should. Let's double check this. Like once they finish this final, they're almost done with the final floodgate. I'll close the floodgate entirely and see if it backs up. If it doesn't back up at all, then yeah, I think what I'm reading here is it is going out the back, which means we might not finish the aqueduct this particular session. Because, see, how far does my district reach? I can't even build back here yet. So I think I might need to extend that with paths. Let me see how far I can get back here with paths. So if I draw a path back here. Okay, that does extend my range so that I could build levees in the back. That's going to take time, though. So yeah, okay, so I can cover this whole back area here. And I'm betting that if I build a staircase down from the dam up here, I can also build on this side. So I could just basically build levee walls back here so that this is actually sort of a big swimming pool, basically. Instead of assuming that this wall would just hold the water back on its own. That's kind of too bad. I kind of wish that they could basically just say, designate this entire side of the map as being uphill. So, yeah, so that I wouldn't have to do that. But it is looking like regardless of what I do with the floodgates. Wait a minute. Okay, it is spreading out more. But, yeah, no, it is still flowing out the back. So, I think I have cut off new water right now. I think that actually probably, yeah, okay, I need to lower the floodgates again. Let's lower them down to 0. Of course, I think that I might still be stopping all the water. I actually might have to kill one of these floodgates just to let water through. Because I think, yeah, we've stopped all the water. Just the levees a step below have stopped all the water. Okay, so let's waste some resources, kill my floodgates, and I should use the faster tool here. And kill a couple layers of levees down here, just to let all the water through. Okay, so now water should... Yes, water is flowing again. Okay, so I'm not screwing over the entire village. Now, dang it. So I'm just doing this stream on my lunch break right now. I was kind of hoping that it would go a little faster so I could, like, achieve some goals before I had to go. But that might end up not being the case. So let's build a staircase down from here. And actually... While I'm doing this, I guess there's no harm in just marking out where I want this levee wall to be, which is here. Well, okay. Okay, well, let's kill this pine tree. Go away, pine tree. No one wants you. So it needs to be 3 high to match the height of the levee on the other side, and it also needs to be over here, 3 high. We need to be able to reach it. And yeah, I'll let the beavers start moving here. I need to be able to reach it on this side, so I'll want to build something to it. And actually, you know what I probably want to do? I probably want to build a staircase up to it on both sides, so that the beavers can easily climb on top, can just reach all parts of the levee while they're working on it. so that's where that path is going to go. Let's go ahead and... I don't need this part of the path because I think I'm going to have them traveling on top. Actually, oh, that one tree, though. That one tree is going to be a problem. Okay, they can just barely reach the tree. Awesome. Good job there. So let's build some stairs now. Doink, doink, doink. Let's complete this path right there. And then let's build some stairs up this side, too. So doink. Also doink. And doink. And then... Now let's see... Oh yeah, so this path doesn't count yet because we haven't built the stairs down to it yet. And I think that actually there's nothing else for these builders to do, so they're just going to be doing this the whole time. Actually, one thing I probably could do... We've got 9 unemployed beavers back in the terraces. I think we should build a new builder's hut. And actually... I should build a new builder's hut, but I should build it someplace... I need to build my builder's hut someplace where, even after I fill this reservoir, I can still use it. So let's build it on this side of the reservoir, just shy of my district gate. Let's build a builder's hut. And even though it's going to take time to build this builder's hut up front, I think it's going to be worth it because long term, it's going to really increase the rate at which I can do all this other work. So let me... I have another builder's hut. Let's see. It employs 4 beavers. So let's send some beavers over to the Grand Dam. Let's send 4 beavers over to the Grand Dam. So now this place has got 11 beavers. Oh, wait. Oh, that actually fills up all of my housing. I need more beaver homes. Where am I sticking my beaver homes? The one downside of this place is it is very cramped. Like, I basically only gave them room for just a tiny little outpost. So we've got one homeless beaver now, unfortunately. Oh wow, and I've completely filled up. I've filled up this area too. This area is also filled up almost all of its housing. So let's add a new level to my like skyscraper tower here. While the beavers continue to work elsewhere. Build it like, wait a minute. Yes. Okay, so I want to go up to level 3 here. And then level 3 there. And then up one more level here. And some stairs. Doink. Doink. There we go. And it looks like they have done a pretty good job so far of building this. Oh, they can't get all the... Oh, right. We need gears for this. And how are we doing on making gears? Where are all of our gears going? Let's see here. Haven't been putting gears into that yet because I've de-emphasized these two. Oh, I'm betting my gears are all going over here. No, they're not going... What are they using gears for? Did they just... Oh, maybe they used them all to build this gristmill? No, they already had that. Where are the gears going? I don't know. I'm confused. But... Okay, let's see here. Hey there, Sunny Games. Thanks for joining me. And everybody else who's also joined too. Travi, Ranethcord. Alright. So, yeah. So we're going to solve our housing problem over here. We'll also need to solve our housing problem over here at some point. Actually, you know what? We've got... I know what to do. I think I know what to do. Let them... Okay, yeah. So they let them scavenge that. And then I'm going to, like... completely destroy these crops. These local beavers are actually not reliant on these crops. They're importing most of their food. I just wanted to make them a little bit more self-sufficient. That's why the crops are there. But let's build a row house, which is a nice small house. And then let's kill this and instead build that so we can get a path to it. And there we go. And let's actually, because I think I've despaired of finishing this dam this session, let's just prioritize that so my beavers are happy. As they're working. One thing about the iron teeth, you actually have a lot more control over their ability, like how fast the population grows. Like when it comes to the folktales, basically, if they have empty housing space, they'll have babies until they fill up the housing space. The iron teeth, you actually build vats. They're all vat-grown beavers. So you build all these vats to grow your beavers, which means you have a lot more control over the rate at which you gain new beavers, which is nice. The downside of that is the fact... Oh, I forgot to fill up my paths here. The downside of that is the fact that you can actually, like, breed yourself. Like, you have to control it. Like, not only do you get to control it, you also have to control it. So because beavers die of old age, you do have to constantly be replenishing your population. But it's really easy to outstrip your housing and end up with way more beavers than you have housing because you weren't carefully managing your population. Oh, and I also neglected a path right there. So there we go. Okay, so this place has now got its little house. So now I've got room for 15 beavers, and I only have 11. That's great. I've only got one vat growing a beaver here just to keep the population stable without having it grow too much. So yeah, seriously, somebody needs to frickin' chop this tree down. Somebody. As soon as morning comes, I need to see some tree choppage immediately. Oh yeah, Sunny Games. Your video about I haven't actually watched your video about when Jeff Strain gave that quote about basically as he's launching his new studio, Possibility Space, which sounds really exciting, by the way. I really like I know several people involved in that studio, many of which are Undead Labs alumni, and it seems like a really great studio. I'm really excited for them. He wanted to send the message, I believe, that even though he has moved on to other things, he thinks that Undead Labs is in a really good place, and that our plans for State of Decay 3 are really healthy. That what we're doing in State of Decay 2 is really good. Like, he wanted to endorse us, and he didn't want the news of his new studio to undermine what we're doing at Undead Labs, and that was very noble and everything. But something in and I haven't actually read the original quote. Something in exactly what he said has given multiple people the impression that we're pursuing the original vision of State of Decay, which was, they originally, there was a bunch of ArenaNet people who went to start Undead Labs with the idea of making a zombie MMO, thinking about, the way that MMOs worked in that era. And they had, a lot of their vision was centered around that. Since then, the industry has changed, and our vision for State of Decay has evolved as we've sort of discovered our players and stuff like that. So there's no reason for anyone to think that the next State of Decay game is going to be an exact version of the vision that the State of Decay team had in 2012 or 2011 or 2010. That's not what we're doing. We're doing something else. Now, I'm not going to tell you what we are doing, mostly because I mean, right now I'm on the State of Decay 2 team. I actually have very, very sort of limited insight into what is going on with the next game in the series. But I am going to tell you, it's going to be its own thing. We're not just going to be aping some vision from ages and ages ago. We'll this game is gonna feel out its own destiny. It's not gonna feel like it's a game from 2010. It's gonna feel like it's a game from whatever year it comes out, and with all of the lessons that we've learned in between. So yeah, so Sunny Games, if you're having regrets about a video that you posted where some of your audience got the impression that we were just going to be going back and making the original MMO that we planned in 10 years ago, yeah, you're right. They're getting the wrong impression. That is not the plan with State of Decay 3. I can't tell you what the plan is, but it's not that. And I don't think Jeff Strain intended to insinuate that was the plan. I don't think he was trying to give any specific insights at all into what the next State of Decay was going to be. I think all he was doing was trying to endorse that he thought that we were doing cool stuff, and that the studio was still healthy, even after he departed to go and do something else. So Raneth Court has the original quote, which is, State of Decay is still on its way to achieving its ultimate vision. Yeah, so ultimate means the end. Ultimate doesn't mean, he didn't say original vision. He said ultimate vision. Ultimate vision means like heading towards a destination, not looking back over your shoulders. So there you go. Malator says that MMO or not, I just want a /dance command. We do you can do a little bit of a thriller dance, with the emotes in State of Decay 2. You're already partway there. Anyway, that's a lot of talk about State of Decay 2. We're here to, play Timberborn. The thing is, I mean, I don't know how much more I'm going to accomplish. I've got about 15 minutes until I have to quit because my lunch break will be over. And so I don't know how much I'm going to get done here. We're still not generating any gears for this thing. Why are we not? Also, why is this wheel not turning? Probably because I'm not feeding enough water into this. I should probably destroy even more in here. Actually, one thing I just realized. I've got no idea. Like, when I deleted these levees down here, I've got no idea. Can the beavers swim to reach this? I'm really genuinely not sure. Oh, yeah. Oh, they can. Oh, I forgot I put that walkway in the front. They can. Okay, so I didn't need to dig down. What I probably needed to do was go broad when I was destroying things. There we go. So maybe now... Okay, yeah. So you can see I'm not storing up a bunch of water and having it flow out the back anymore. Now it's all going forward again. And so now the wheels are turning again, which means during the day when somebody's working here, both of these gear factories can keep working. The question is... Okay, so I've got 111 planks. So I've got plenty of planks. So it's not like the gears are being starved of planks. Oh, wow. I am going through a lot of water. I feel like maybe my water pumping capacity is lower than the rate at which my characters are drinking it. That's a bad thing to have happen in a drought. Okay, so let's make sure. Okay, since the drought has just started. Oh, it's going to be a 9-day drought? Holy crap. Okay, let's just close off my floodgates entirely. A 9-day drought without as much water stored as I often have. That is worrying. So the question is just, I'm clearly making gears. And of course, yeah, so now that the water stopped flowing, these have stopped moving. One reason why I really wanted to get my engines working is because during droughts, I'm not making gears at all. So, yeah, so we're definitely not going to make any progress during this drought. So we're not going to finish my explosives factory. We're not going to finish my shredder. I just wish I knew where the beavers were taking the gears. I'm making them. And I don't think I'm... Does a floodgate require gears? Let's see here. Nope, just planks and stuff. I don't know where they're sending the gears. Because if they're not sending it here, and I've deprioritized these two, I don't think there's anywhere else for gears to go. Are they just filling this up? Oh, they filled this up with gears. That's what they've been doing. Great. Okay, well, whenever the drought's over, hopefully they'll actually start directing the gears where I want them, which is the shredder. Let's up the priority on that sucker. Oh, yeah, and we also want gears over here on these little devices, so we can start running the shredder. And actually, I'm not sure. Can the build? Yeah, the builders can reach those. So I'm going to keep this running at maximum speed. We're going to keep working on this levee in the back, so hopefully over time that's going to do something. I guess while we're doing that, I should start thinking about producing more water. So we've got 5 water pumps down here. And 4 here, and that is apparently not enough for a population of 133 beavers. Well, I've also added 2 here, but they're dry, because I'm just planning these to be useful after this reservoir is full. So I think what I might need to do is just add some more pumps up here in this reservoir. Ideally, pumps that reach at least 2 levels down, so that as we start, because we're already starting to drain this reservoir, as we drain the reservoir, I don't just run out of water. So, where's the best place to stick these guys? So again, we want the pump bits to be over... Let me just rotate it vertically here. We want the pump bits to be over the deepest part. So like there would be a really good spot to put one. So let's start with that. And I think I just need to build several of these. And now, of course, yeah, I'm going to have to adjust where the sort of the path is, too. But we'll worry about that in a second. And then I guess, yeah, I could just build several of these parallel. Like that. And then each of them, yeah, each of them has got a little door on it. And then do I want to also build them on the other side? That seems worthwhile. So, yeah, I could build one here. like that. And I could also build... See here, so I've got these 2 lumberjacks here, which are actually pretty important, so I don't want to get in their way necessarily. But I could also build lumberjacks absolutely anywhere. So yeah, so let's actually destroy these 2 lumberjacks. Die, lumberjacks. And... I mean, I'm not killing them. They're just going to go get another job or be unemployed for a little bit while we, creative destruction, that's what this is called. So we do that, and then we're going to build a whole bunch. I love how fast these beavers are coming in here. Like, they're building this stuff faster than I can plan it, almost. And... Actually, I could have just stepped that one back a little bit, but... Yeah, whatever. Actually, no. I think it's more aesthetically pleasing if I step it back 1 level. So I'm going to beat up this thing. Go away. And stagger it just a little bit back from the previous one. There we go. And then we'll have to build access points here for all of these. Oh, I just got, that was my 10-minute meeting notification. So I'll definitely be leaving in 10 minutes or less. And then we extend the paths. This kind of makes weird, ugly little square paths. And so I think once these paths are built, I'm going to want to, like, clear out some space around them. But yeah, so my little beavers. Since we can't make gears anyway, I guess we just got a lot of planks to work with. Oh, it looks like my mills... Okay, so my mills have finally churned through a lot of the wheat that I've been harvesting. So one thing I should point out, though, the thing that's awesome about this reservoir here, it takes forever. Now that I can fill it up, like now that I've actually, once I blocked this outflow with this levee, and I can fill it up pretty deep, it's so broad, it's so wide, it can last a whole drought without ever drying up this farmland. Now, this is a 9-day drought. This is a particularly bad drought. So this one might actually, dry out this land. By the way, one thing you should note, how do I note this? Those crops that I planted at the beginning, when I was like drying the field out just for fun, they have grown and been harvested. So yeah, that stuff does actually work. So yeah, we're pumping the heck out of this area now. That reminds me of a Zay Frank song. Something about pump that area. I don't know. I don't remember what the context was, so I'm going to stop singing it. So now that we've built all of these little paths here, let's get rid of those and replace them with lumberjacks. I don't know. Can never have too many lumberjacks. I mean, they spend most of their time just standing around waiting for trees to grow, but yeah, no one's going to complain about having more lumberjacks, so I'm just going to leave those there. Yeah, this is probably more than this reservoir can handle during a drought. The sheer amount of pumpage is just insane. But I've got so many unemployed beavers. I mean, I might as well, right? Another thing that might be worthwhile is to build a hauling outpost so that like this water can be more efficiently carried to all the places it needs to be. I'm trying to remember, where's the last place I put a hauling outpost? I think it might be right here. Do I have another one? So this one employs 10 hauling posts. Yeah, I've only got the one hauling post. So that could be another issue actually that's affecting my water, is the fact that I don't have haulers that are really easily available to where the water's being pumped out. So maybe I should build a hauling post like around here somewhere, and maybe a bridge across. Yeah, so basically I'm gonna get to the point where this reservoir is completely hidden by platforms. It's gonna be like I'm building Tenochtitlan or something like that. Like I'm just like, you can't even see the lake after a while because I've just built so much crap on top of it. But yeah, so let's build a platform here for a hauling post. And that will actually employ a lot of my beavers that are unemployed right now. So that'll be pretty good. Put them beavers to work. So we can like extend a path across this so they can easily reach all of the pumps. Yeah, so we'll have some haulers that work here. And and basically their main job is going to be grabbing stuff from here and dragging it down. Oh, so you can see the water level has fallen by 1 level here. And so if I had any water pumps that were trying to pump from that tile, they wouldn't be getting water anymore. But because these pumps are all sort of out over the middle of the reservoir. They're still pumping. But these trees are starting to dry out over here because the water's getting lower. Hey, Director Cosmic is here. You made it to the beaver stream. Though, yeah, you did get here in like the last 5-10 minutes before I'm going to have to go, because this is a lunch break stream, and those are necessarily time constrained. But this is going to be good. You know, I'll do another session a little bit later on, maybe later on this evening, where we try to finish up this ridiculous levee that we've got back here and see if we can actually turn it into an aqueduct. So, yeah. I close this all the way off, right? Let's close it completely all the way off. So, yeah, we're not going to open this floodgate until we actually have an aqueduct built. So this has got all the scrap metal it needs. It just needs us to finish this stupid drought so that my machines here can start running again. And this is actually going to be a really, really good argument. Like, this whole situation is a really, really good argument in favor of me using metal and burning a bunch of wood to make engines. Probably isn't going to be great for climate change, but, you know, what can you do? Okay, Cloudcraft. Oh, you showed up right at the end, too. I just caught that. Yeah, so, Raneth Court, I am planning on doing a playtest stream this afternoon, so I will be playing some State of Decay 2 in a couple of hours, so that's going to be fun. And maybe at the very end of that, maybe I'll just throw in one more Beaver stream so that we can see some more Timberborn and see what the outcome of this ridiculous plan is. So yeah, one thing I wish I could do is turn off all of these little red discs. Like, turn off the specific warnings that I don't care about. Like, I really don't care that much that my warehouses are full. You know, I don't feel like I really need these. And so I wish I could turn them off so that I could, like, take glamour shots of my community without needing to see all of those icons. I've tried to look for a way to turn the icons off, and I'm just not seeing one. Yeah, they are making some pretty decent progress back here. And miraculously, my lumberjacks are keeping up with the demand for logs. My lumber mills, now that I've got twice the lumber mills I had before, they are staying well ahead of the curve. And they're generating tons and tons of wood. Tons and tons of planks for me to use. And it looks like my builders here, let's just hire a bunch of haulers. It looks like my builders here have, you know, they've completed all the stuff that I've asked them to do. Everything they can do right now, lacking gears, they have done. So I might need to just give them some busy work to do. You know, one thing that's actually important for, you know, late game stuff. One thing I actually found out about fairly recently. I should show you this. If you click on an individual beaver, you can see their needs and stuff, including their sort of auxiliary needs. Like this is their, like, survival needs down here. But then, you know, nutrition, awe, happiness, all the stuff that you provide for them by building extra stuff in your community. These things actually have specific effects. Like, if they're having fun, their work speed goes up. If they're comfortable, they walk faster and they live longer. If they have knowledge, they work faster. If they have awe, they work faster. So everything about your base gets more efficient. Everything about your community gets more efficient as you provide those sort of auxiliary needs. So one thing I have been thinking about doing for a while is trying to put some decorations on the top of my warehouse district over here. So let me do that real quick. So first I'm to build these, like, platforms to sort of give me a base to work with. And then I'll go to the decoration section and build these 2x3 roofs on top. And so I think I'm going to need to have one. Okay, so yeah. I'll build these roofs here. And then I think I'm going to need to have two 2x2 roofs on the end here. Actually, you know, oh, no, what I should have done. This is, okay, we're going to undo this garbage. This is trash. Absolute trash. Decorations. Let's build end caps. And then these roofs. So each of these roofs, anyone who's walking under these roofs gets sort of their aesthetic needs satisfied. And so, and also just, it'll make my town look nice. So yeah, so the beavers are going to use all their, like, the builders are going to use their spare time to try to build up some pretty roofs while we're waiting for more stuff to happen. But guess what? It is 12:59. I've got to get ready to go to a meeting. So we're gonna, we're gonna come back to this village and we're gonna see if I can actually complete my aqueduct next session. But in the meantime, if you want to subscribe to my channel and see more hot beaver action. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Next video's there.